What's up, Four Quarters? We're live here with Hot Mike at Desert Sports Live. We got Steven Parks, myself, and man, we got some special guests in studio tonight. We've been trying to work this out for about a year now, and it's wild that we're just now getting with this team here with Panther Vision from Pedro Vista High School. What, 2 years later?
Yeah.
And it took way too long, Steven, but we've had a lot of hype, a lot of people reaching out saying how cool and excited they were to see today's Hot Mic with the Panther Vision from Pedro Vista High School, Steven.
That's right. We're excited. We've got, I'll let you guys introduce yourself. We've got Jordan Yazzie, Raylan, is it Lizer?
Yes.
Lizer, and Haley Bassing, the rock star.
Unless you're on Facebook, it's hell.
We know Mom's watching, so
Yeah.
send a text if the sound's not right?
It's true,
That's
it's
right.
true.
Okay.
Well, we'll get started with you, Jordan. What grade are you in, man?
I'm a senior, graduating this year.
Ooh, man. And you're also
Yeah, I'm also a senior.
senior. So Haley brought both seniors. Now, how long have you both been in this in this group with Panther Vision?
So Panther Vision had just started last year, so this would be our second year in it.
Ah, so Jordan and you were in since day one, huh?
Yeah, it's day one.
Man, we've enjoyed working with the two of you, and of course, your fearless leader, El Jefe.
Yeah, something like that. No, I brought these guys along because without the students, we wouldn't have Panther Vision. We wouldn't have a digital media program at all at Pedro Vista. So these guys have been around since they were freshmen. I've been able to have them all 4 years, so I'm really lucky that these kids are here. They stick around, and the longer they're here, the more in-depth and more learning, essentially, they get. You know, if they had not stuck with the program, they wouldn't be here right now. You guys wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
You know, we wouldn't have that partnership.
Well, I didn't realize that it was just started 2 years ago. So we kind of
I
came
didn't
in
either.
at the first. We were in at the first as well whenever
Yeah.
we came in with you guys. That's pretty cool. And just to see in 2 years what it's went from. I mean, just kind of a small group of students to start out to, man,
Yeah.
you're overwhelmed with students now. I mean, from my point of view, there's a lot of kids that are participating.
Yeah, it's really awesome. I remember, so Stephen Moore was my teacher in high school at Pedro Vista, and he didn't retire until 6 years ago. And when he was getting ready to retire, he came and found me because I was working at PV already in the theater department. And he was like, Haley, I'm leaving. It's yours, you know, and I was like, So I went through all the steps. I got my teaching license, and then, so I've been teaching film for 6 years now. And then Panther Vision has only existed for the last 2 years.
Wow. That is
It's
great.
impressive.
I honestly
so
didn't know that.
impressive.
I thought that class had been running for a while
Yeah.
whenever we came in. So, Jordan, tell us what the ride has been like since you've been there for this whole entire time. I know that whenever we went over there, you were doing some on-field reporting. I know you've worked probably just about everything in the class. Tell us what that's been like.
Man, it's a lot. It's a lot, man. You got ups and downs.
Yep.
But that joint been fun, bro. Especially with friends and stuff. That joint's so fun, bro. And like, especially when they tell me like, oh, we need someone to do interviews. I'm like, man, I got
sign
y'all,
me up.
I got y'all, man.
I like how fearless you are, Jordan. That's something we've always talked about. You're not afraid to hop in there, grab a mic, and get after it.
Chase
and that's
players down on the football
That's
field.
right. That's a great quality to have, man. I mean, what people that are listening and thinking about trying to get into this field, it's not as easy as people think it is.
Yeah.
You know, we get a lot of people that sit over here. You all are seasoned in this realm of work. And not everybody is. So we get people coming in here, and Steven and I hand them bottles of water, and we're like, you're going to need that. And they're like, no, I'm good. I'm like, nope. The second we ask you a question, your mouth is going to go dry, and you're going to panic. And it happens all the time. But, you know, talk about what Haley did with her class to kind of get you to the point of where you're at right now, where you have that no fear leadership within this class.
She just told me not to be scared. You know, I'm always scared, like, when I do interviews and stuff. But then I was like, man, it's Miss Bassing. Like, Miss Bassing's the GOAT, man. I gotta do it.
That she is.
She's your favorite teacher, right?
Yeah.
Well, you know, and I have to
course.
tip my hat to you, brother, because that's
Especially since you're
a brave thing to admit to, man. That you're frightened and scared to get out there and get a hold of that mic. And that goes back to what we were talking about. Like, people think they can just step in and do this, and it's a whole nother ball game when they do. And we've been able to see you flourish through the years that we've done this. And so we want to get to what your game plan is after high school, but let's move over to this young lady and talk us through about what it's been like in Haley's class and some of the things you really love, and that's helped you build your personality and your character as well.
So in Bastion's class, we always have teamwork, so we always like work with each other, and she always has us go into groups. So when she puts us in groups, we have to talk to people. So she's helping us build up our confidence. And so while I was in Bastion's class, at first I didn't like film, but the more she taught it and the more that I saw, and like she always said our homework was movies, so we'd always watch them, and the more she got in depth into breaking down from what's with the movies, she brings out the creativity from us to build scripts and stuff.
Yeah, I understand that. The production side, you watch a movie and you're looking at camera angles, you're looking at times they switch.
Yep.
I totally get that, because that's where I'm at all the time.
That's this guy right over here.
Oh, my
and sometimes you just sit there and you do this. I hear you. No,
That's what he does
when
when
frustration going, Steven.
When 15 minutes ago I was freaking out because the cameras weren't connecting.
But he dialed it in.
And it was a one cord.
He dialed it in.
Always.
Yeah, one cord.
You know, Haley, I still can't wrap my mind around the fact that this has only been 2 years. Panther Vision has been a team and part of a class that you've been able to have the honor to teach these kids, as you mentioned a number of times, that you felt honored to be around these students. And man, we look at the equipment that you have, the knowledge that you had. You know, when we walked in, we talk about watching people flourish and stuff. And I remember coming in with Steven and I and the team, and you had a pretty good grasp of what you were doing. And it probably was 2 or 3 different broadcasts, and you and Steven were just kind of geeking out with Corey about this equipment and stuff. Remember this, kids? You know,
Yeah.
Because you're going to get in one of those conversations where they're talking about stuff you have no idea what they're talking about. So you're like, yeah. You know, it is a real testament of what you brought to this class and to these students. I mean, these 2 seniors, you can already see the impact that you have with your students. So walk us through, man, this passion that you have for this, because I'll tell you, this young lady is at everything. Every time I turn on Facebook, Steven and I are like, Haley's over there now.
I know. What trip is she taking now?
Yeah. Well, Facebook is such a weird, my generation. This morning you text me, you're like, hey, make sure that your students have the link and share it. And I'm like, Albert, my students aren't on Facebook.
Yeah. They're on Instagram.
Yeah.
Forget about the Instagram thing, guys. My bad.
So
I'm still working on that.
Yeah.
I'll just let you know.
Yep. But it's really cool. And I mean, that's the thing about Facebook is it's just like a movie, you know. We're able to show our audience the real parts, the good parts, when I'm posting about us doing a live stream or we're at a teacher conference in Albuquerque. Not that there's a lot of bad parts, but I'm able to show off these students. I brag about them a lot, you know. And I'm getting a lot of praise right now in this podcast, but there's so many people to thank. Like Isaac Gamboa, our athletic director for the district, he got us most of this equipment. You know, that first year he was able to see what we could do when we were using most of yours and FHS Live. That we were able to get in there, and he bought us some more cameras and more everything that we needed, you know, because that's a big part of it. We live in a really cool time right now, though, that, like, we could stream from our pockets. I made a joke today that I was like, I should set my camera up and I could live stream to TikTok, just me being on here, you know what I mean? Like, it's there.
What the heck, Haley?
I don't know anything about TikTok, obviously, so I can learn a thing or two from you. But.
Yeah. Well, but also Mr. Curry, Johnny Curry at Farmington High, he had FHS Live, and that program was really strong for over a decade.
He was very passionate about that, yeah.
And
Steele is passionate about it.
Yeah.
He's busy. He's got other things going on, being the new athletic director for Farmington, but very passionate about it still.
And it's awesome. I'm just really thankful for those people that they were able to scoop me up and mentor me. You know, I have a really good relationship with Mr. Curry that I texted him over the weekend to borrow another camera and his new ATEM so we could stream the wrestling.
Yeah.
The regional wrestling
Did you
that
use the
happened.
Supersource?
We did. We
Nice.
had to,
Nice.
because
Yeah.
they had the format. So
Pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. But
See, we're geeking out right now. Sorry.
We're already over there. We're already left out of the conversation.
For all of you out there, Haley and I had this conversation over a text message. So.
yeah. And so I'm really thankful that I've had that. And that's probably one of my most favorite parts about this job is those relationships that we're building within people in our school district and then community members. I feel like I have every booster club president saved in my phone book for every sport that is at PV, and that's crucial. And it's really awesome for these students because we get to go. And like today, I was late a little bit, and they have the knowledge to come in and make eye contact with you guys and shake your hands. And you know what I mean? I don't need to be there, that they can be out members of our community and be able to make those business deals,
Yeah, and I just want to say it. Another big player is Chris.
Oh, yeah.
Got to
Mr.
mention
Hughes.
Chris, Mr. Hughes.
He's a lifesaver.
Man,
He really
that guy
is.
does-
This is a
he does a lot of work
lifesaver.
too. He does a great job
Yeah.
as well. I just wanted to give him a little shout out.
Well, and Mr. Hughes, he doesn't like being on camera.
I know. Why didn't you get him here,
I thought about
would be
it,
great.
Chris?
but
We want you. We're getting you on here.
I was almost guaranteed that he would probably laugh and be like, no.
Yeah, I could see him saying that.
Yep. Yeah, and he is a big one to thank. He's my assistant, which he probably does equal amount of work that I do. He's there every stream we have after school, and he's real more tech savvy than
My
I am.
technical security.
Yeah, really though. And I'm texting him on the weekends. I'm like, hey, we have this coming up. How do we do this? And he kind of figures it out. He figured out the software for our score bug that we've been using, and he's a teacher at the high school, so he understands how to work with these kids really well, and a lot of them have been in his class, so there's that those strong relationships. I really think that's what makes this stream work.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, what is your absolute favorite thing to do in this class as far as running the cameras? Do you love basketball more? Is it theater, wrestling? How about yourself, young lady? What is your absolutely favorite thing to sign up for?
What's been your favorite event?
One of the favorite events that I liked was doing football because we got to create what was going on the video board, and so we get to get creative with that and play different music. That was the main thing I was doing. I was doing video board and sound.
So you were actually creating the content that went up on the board during the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
Man, bless you. Jordan, how about you?
Football, man. That job was so fun, bro.
You like being down there on the track and on the field, don't you?
Hell yeah, that
That's a
job's
good
fun.
place to be. You get to hear all the good stuff. Yeah.
Basketball too. Basketball is like one of my favorite sports that I play all the time. So commentating, that job fun, bro.
You have grown in broadcasting as well. When we first started with you, and you were doing your games with Adrian a couple of times out
Yep.
there too. He's tied up in a lot of sports himself now, and so
Adrian's a senior as well, correct?
He is, yeah. He's actually going to be doing commentary Thursday night for the FHS game.
Nice.
I was like, "Are you ready for it?" And he's like, "I think so."
right.
Well,
yeah.
we've gotten to use a lot of your video on our KOBF TV
Yeah.
segment, so
Yeah.
hopefully you all have been watching that. Comes on Saturdays now at, I believe it's 6 o'clock.
6:30 on Saturday evenings. And they got the right logos now.
Okay,
So
cool.
So, how cool is that y'all get to say, a lot of your videos are also being shown on the news when people are watching. I mean, did you all really know and kind of understand how many people that the videos you were actually recording, how far they're actually getting to people inside their homes?
yeah, it's going across the state now.
Do you guys watch the news? No.
They're like, I'm right here.
I know.
We had to tell them 4 times to get off.
It's on YouTube. It's on YouTube.
Yeah. We actually watched today. I threw up your KOB.
Oh, the last one?
Yeah. Because we were watching it because they were like, "What's it gonna be like?" I was like,
Yeah.
"Look."
Yeah, they did get the logos, and they will be correct this
Cool.
next time. But yeah, the KOB thing, it started out just on MeTV, and then they took it off of MeTV, and now it's on the main. It's on the main news at 6:30 on Saturday evenings. It goes across all 77 affiliates across the entire
That's cool.
state. So, like Albert said, like that what you guys do is now being broadcast across the state. You know, like, and
Yeah.
people are seeing that, so it's pretty cool.
It's crazy.
Wild, you know. People don't even realize they're watching y'all's creation, you know. And it's crazy because it is a different time. You know, when we went to school. Well, first of all, it took 5 of us to bring the TV in here because it had the big tube in the back. Number 1, it didn't have remotes. You know,
God,
you're
you're
turning
old,
the dial.
Albert.
Number 2, the computers that we're using were not laptops. They were big screens with the green dots on them.
Yeah.
We played cool games called
Oregon Trail.
You know, so it gives you an idea. But the work that you all put out there, and for those of you out there, if you're not following Pedro Vista High School on Facebook or Instagram and Panther Vision as well, get on out there and start following them because they put out some amazing videos. And so talk to us a little bit about that before we go back to Haley over here about, like, what's your all's favorite part about putting together maybe a game day video flyer, whatever that is. Jordan, we'll start with you. What's your favorite part about that?
Probably choosing the music. I love music, man. I love music, man. I always got my AirPods in, so probably the music. But of course, like, creating it is like you gotta have like a vision, so it's like kind of weird. But I don't know. My favorite part's the music.
Well, and yeah, it's when I just want to throw this in there. The music, whenever you're creating a video, it's difficult because you have to find something that's going to work with the video. So that's a very important part of it, in my opinion. Whenever I've done video, it's like, that song doesn't work.
Yep.
Nope, that doesn't work. You know, you have to get to the right song that's going to work and sound good with whatever it is.
It sets the tone of the
Yeah.
video.
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah, they're learning that.
So music for you, and how about yourself?
It's being able to create it and find things that you think people would be interested in. And so once they're interested, they would watch the whole thing, and then they would be like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like, you somehow added the game day video into like some other videos and to make it fun so people watch it.
Yeah, you guys have been getting like over 1,000 views almost every time I see your videos pop up there. I mean, that's fantastic. So, you know, Haley, right now your class is the only one that's a class, I guess, at Pedro Vista and Farmington. So are you floating back between both schools?
Well, no.
Okay.
So Farmington High has Mr. Liebrook is teaching filmmaking. So it's just like the film aspect of it. And they don't have anyone teaching like the broadcasting class. So that's kind of gone, I don't want to say it's gone away, but it's not, there's not a class for FHS Live. So they're not
It's just
doing
in a time period of not doing anything right
yeah.
at the moment.
But I've checked on the live streams, and we were at Scorporina a couple nights ago, and Mr. Curry has, he said, these kids have found me. So those kids that have a passion for it, they figured out to go talk to them, and they're turning off the gym lights and throwing up a spotlight when they're doing the runouts, and they got the video board camera and the whole bit, you know. So they're still doing that. It's not as a class. I'm not sure if those students are getting paid or if they're just doing it because they love to do
Well,
it.
and he had some pretty key players that first year we were there that really were like that would do the video. They were really into it, and they graduated, and then you don't have anybody to kind of mentor the ones coming up, and that's unfortunate. But that, I mean, things that's just the way things go sometimes. But no, I mean that class. They had a lot going on there. Whenever
He did.
Mr.
I
Curry
remember
was
when
running
he
it.
started it, I think Stephen and I were talking about it, it's like 12 years ago. Some of the equipment you see, you're like, okay, I see that. But I remember when Johnny started it, and he had the big, like, camera like you've seen on the TVs.
Sure.
And so they had to put the tent over the top of it. And I'll never forget when he first started this class, kind of like Panther Vision, is FHS Live, I believe is what they call it over there. And man, he's been a pioneer for this. So now here you are, fast forward to Pedro Vista. Walk us through how you ended up where you're here. You know, where did you get this passion for? Actually, let me ask you another question. Were you ever involved in Shindig?
Yeah.
We got to bring Shindig back. That was the most amazing production I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was
to be
cool.
honest with you, my youngest daughter was a part of that. And I just fell in love with it, with the theatrical stuff, the videos, the lighting, everything like that. But
Yeah.
We need to work on bringing that back.
Yeah.
A lot of work. I understand why the teacher retired.
Come on, Haley,
she
make
was
it
a
happen.
beloved
Well,
teacher.
Make it happen.
Yep.
There's a lot that went into that. Wow, I couldn't even imagine what went through that.
Yeah.
Went into that production. But let's start from ground zero for us
Sure.
and walk us through how you end up where you're at.
Well, I graduated from Piedra Vista High School in 2005. So this year actually is going to be my 20-year class reunion, which is crazy. There's a definite age gap because these kids, these guys will spit out these memes, and I'm like, I don't get it. And then we post it, and it gets like the most likes and the most views of anything we post, and so it's like, okay. So I have to thank them for that. So graduated from PV, I went down to NMSU and I got my degree in filmmaking. And then I just did some other jobs around, moved back to Farmington and got into tech theater. That's what I started going to school for. And then I switched over to film about halfway through. So there's community in that. There's a bunch of people. I was working at San Juan College, and then I was working at the Civic Center, and I did 11 seasons at Sandstone at the amphitheater. And that kind of all timing and people leaving left positions open, that I was able to get in with the schools. So my first year there was 14 into 15 school year. I was the theater manager there. And then that's where I got the opportunity to do Shindig. Because Virginia Nichols, she wouldn't hire us, but they would do all the rehearsals there at TC Pat, the Toronto Crispin Performing Arts Theater at Piedra Vista. And then we would go over to the Civic Center where it's just more seating and a bigger stage and all of it, But that was cool because I was like assistant teaching the tech theater class. So we could take those tech theater students over to the Civic Center, and then they would work on a big fancy light board and a really big sound console and all of that we didn't have at PV, But so I've always had a passion for film. I was telling one of our tech guys today, I was like, it's like pulling teeth to get these kids to commit to after school things. And I was like, when I was in high school, I never would have went home had this program been available, And I went home obviously, but I was in the gym filming my friends playing sports. So I was already there with a camera in my hand doing that. I just wasn't getting credit for it at school. So it was really cool that this opportunity presented itself to do film. And then I have to thank my students all the time because I don't know anything about sports, which is, a big portion of this job. But I figured out how to relate it to stuff that I know. When we're on the football field, there's not a stage left and a stage right. So my kids were like, you need to zoom in on the 10-yard line. And my students are like, there's 2 10-yard lines. What am I doing? Like
the one with players on it.
Yeah. So, and you know what I mean? And those types of things you don't realize that you need to teach them until we're there, We're actually the FHS baseball. They ask us to come and run music and their video board for their games, which we're going to do. So these guys have been creating graphics for that. And I just have them labeled out, and these kids are like, what's a foul ball number 3? And I'm like, well, there's not really a number to it, but this is, so those types of things, again, present themselves.
So you know a little bit about sports.
Well,
Haley, you work at Connie Mack almost every summer. Come on now.
Baseball
you know it a
is
little bit more. Well, I get what
easier
you're saying,
to
though.
understand.
Like to understand the full capacity of each individual sport is not just a normal thing unless you played it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the fact of the matter
Yep.
of it. So I think that's what you're trying to explain is some people grow up playing sports and they understand it. Some maybe dabbled in it a little bit, and some just don't understand it.
Yeah.
And that's okay too.
Yep. And that's the really cool part. Like Jordan, for example, I haven't been able to give him like real clear direction for doing commentary and stuff. Or at the end of a football game when we want to grab a player to do an interview, he's like, what questions should I ask? And I'm like, I don't know. We won. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know the sport well enough to be like, to notice that they had really good defense or whatever that was, that to come up with that kind of question. So I really rely hard on these students to know those things about sports, And especially it's hard too if they've never been to that. So explaining to them, hey, let's come up with a video that we could play in between quarter 1 and quarter 2, and they're like, what is that? You know, so that is, there's been a lot of learning when it comes to the sport part of it.
I think there will always be learning.
Yeah.
This guy, he learns something new every
Jeez.
single week, and then he's like telling the rest of the gang, and we're like, okay, you're gonna have to tell us that later
Yeah.
on, buddy.
Yeah.
But it makes sense. You're always evolving.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it's really awesome too. We had some grant money, so we ordered some new little equipment. We just got one of those 360 cameras. That's just the little guys that has the lens on both sides. And I'm like, open up the box, plug it in, get the app on your phone, you know, and then a week
Play with
later
it.
come back and they have to explain to me how it all works and how to do it all, you know.
Jeez,
So
I
it's-
need some people like that.
I know.
I know.
I used to have some living with me with my daughters and kids when I couldn't figure something out.
Yep.
But they're all in their own lives.
Yep.
Well, that's the evolution of when we were growing up compared to nowadays. You know, we always get blown away when we see those graphics and things, and the work that goes into those. Unfortunately, I don't ever really dabble in. Then I got some new software which I'm hoping to start to kind of start messing around with. I took your advice and got some stuff, but. Jordan, you know, walk us through what your plans are, man. After you're a senior this year, you're going to finish out obviously softball and baseball, and then, dude, it's graduation time. So what's Jordan's future looking like moving forward?
Man, I don't even know. I was thinking like electrician.
Yeah, that's a great line of work to go in. I mean, Steven, he knows a lot about that with his
Yeah.
job. That's a huge line of work to go in, man.
An electrician would be great. And then you could do some of this on the side.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what I was
That's
thinking
right,
too.
man. See,
I mean, you
you're
got like
teaming up
what
with
the
us,
advantage
buddy.
that you guys have is like you know how to do the content part of it, the thumbnails, for instance,
Yeah.
that you put out. Like it's funny, but I mean that's what draws people's attention. If
Yep.
you can do thumbnails correctly on your videos or on your posts or whatever, it draws people to those things. And so, I mean, you could be an electrician, and then you could maybe do some of that stuff on the side and get paid for it because people need that.
Yes. How about you, young lady? What's the plans for you moving forward? What does your future look like?
So I'm not really committed onto it, but I want to go to Santa Fe and continue my path in filmmaking over there because they have a film program in Santa Fe at the college, and I might want to do that.
Nice. I didn't know they had a.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember
there's a
Brett.
whole art school there.
Wasn't Brent Garcia kind of pushing that a while back ago when they first
maybe.
opened it up? I thought I remember because you're involved with the that film festival.
Yeah,
that they
yeah,
have,
Film Four
right?
Corners.
So I think I remember seeing something being posted on
Yeah.
that. Film Four Corners is a big production as well. Do you two get involved with any of that? It's in the summer, right?
It's a little bit of everything.
Kind of just.
Yeah, so they're actually Film Four Corners in April, and they're going to participate in it, whether they realize that or not.
Oh, so you just volunteered?
You guys are in.
Yeah.
You guys
And we
just
were
got
witness
told.
to it.
Yeah, but they're hosting a film contest. So usually in like the film world, they'll do like a 48-hour film challenge. So you sign up, they give you your prompt, and then it's usually a little bit more than 48 hours, but you have to use like a prop or like a specific line in your script. And then you have to incorporate that, and you have to film it, edit it, and submit it in that short amount of time. So we're taking that idea, and we're going to expand it to a week. So you have, I think we're meeting up on either a Friday or a Saturday. We're going to give the prompt, and then they have an entire week, and then we'll come back that next Saturday and screen them all at the Tota. So not that they have really a whole week to work on it, but you know, if you added up the hours between some after school and during class time, I'll give these guys to work on it, then it's that short amount of time. And then it's opened up to all the high schools. And that's something, again, that I'm really thankful for, is that like Jeremy Orr, he teaches in Aztec at the high school.
Yeah.
He has their film classes and their yearbook classes. So we have this community, you know, and with Facebook, I'm able to text them. I'm like, hey, are you sending kids to this? Or, you know, so, and Brent, we've worked together a lot. and then the new film teacher at Farmington High. So there is a community of us that we're able to get everybody involved, which is really awesome.
Gosh, you'd have to. That's
Yeah.
a lot. I've seen some of that production and some of those things that they do down there, and it's mind blowing.
Yeah.
There's a lot that goes into that. A good buddy of mine, Curtis McGee, Michelle McGee, you know her. She's a teacher at Ladera, I
Yeah.
believe. And we always go to the Tota Theater at least once a year when they have, you know, they have those little comedy theater shows and stuff. It's a great time going out there.
Yep.
Y'all will love that. Have you ever done that before? Have you dabbled in theater at all? No. Jordan?
Nah.
No, he's
Come on, Jordan.
Jordan's like, that ain't cool, man.
Yeah.
Jordan needs to
bump
get
my
into theater.
music.
Well, and that's been a really big challenge with this program just in general. Even like my intro to film students, they're similar to me in that they like the behind the scenes. Like they like the writing and the filming and the editing, but we have no talent to be in front of the camera. You know, that's something that we struggle with, because just like, that's always my response. I'm like, all right, let's go shoot this. And they're like, no.
You know that.
Raylan, you don't want to get in front of the camera?
No, I stay behind the camera.
But you're doing so well. You're
I know.
you're in front
You're
of
in front of the
4 them
camera
right
now.
now. And you haven't missed a beat, young lady.
No,
Man.
it's really cool because both of these guys actually, while they say they hate it, we're participating in Film Prize Junior New Mexico. And so these guys wrote their own scripts and then they're acting in them as well. And that's something that their deadline is soon at the end of this week.
Wow.
And then we have to submit them by March 4th, and then we're going to go down to Albuquerque and just have a big viewing of them. So it's kind of real life, like they get to a little taste of what it's like, of all the pressure of making a film, but then like all the glory, because we walk in there and they get press badges and they're taking their picture and people are interviewing them, and it's just really, it's a really cool experience.
So what is that like? Do they do it in groups? Are you guys doing that in groups together and putting that all together?
Yeah, there's all of us are in different groups. So I'm in a group by myself with me and my other friend Cheyenne, and so we both we wanted like a film that was like kind of a true, like based on what we have seen and like kind of like what we have gone through. And our film is basically going to be like about Native Americans and stuff about them. And since we've both like kind of been through it, we thought nobody would show much emotions as us. Since we know the characters and everything, we thought we'd be the actors. So it's last year we went to a film prize, and it was really fun being able to watch everybody's films, seeing how fun it is, how creative they were. It was so fun being able to get interviewed by other people.
So you're actually getting in front of the camera. Are you guys doing stuff together in front of the camera and then producing it and coming back and editing it and doing all that stuff? Is that how you're doing all that?
Yeah, so me and Cheyenne we work together in everything. And so we both are being shown in the film, and we're both going to edit it, and we both had worked on the script together.
Wow. And what's Cheyenne's last name?
Cheyenne McDonald.
Is that the
Give
Cheyenne
us
we know?
Oh, it is.
All right.
Yeah, she's our main switcher
Yeah,
most
she's
of the
the
time.
switcher.
She's amazing.
Yeah, she's good.
Is that going to be recorded? In other words, if we ask for a copy of it so we can post it on our on our webpage, obviously you already have access to that. We'd love to push that for you
promote
all.
that.
Maybe bring you back in and let's just show some parts of that.
Yeah,
just
that would be
kind of
cool.
break it down. That would be amazing. I think
As long as they finish.
hey,
Now the
will
pressure's
finish.
on. You have to finish. Like, we're calling you out.
that's it. We're posting.
Jordan, are you
this.
doing one of these as well?
Yeah.
How many people are involved in yours?
It's just groups of two. So it's
Okay,
just two of
so
them.
just 2 people in each one of them.
Who's your partner?
My bro Darnell. Shout out Darnell.
Darnell, who?
Darnell Sherman. Shout out him, man.
Have we met him?
No, he's not in Panther Vision. He's just in the advanced film class.
Okay. Because you had a young man that was helping you out. He wasn't in your class, but you had talked to him once. He had come to help out. I didn't know if that was him.
Yeah, no, I don't
No?
think so.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not sure. It's cool. These kids show up. I have this kind of running joke about the boyfriends club.
Yeah, we won't
Raylan, why did she look at you when she said that?
We got a little experience of that
Raylan's-
ourselves when we were up there a couple of
Raylan's
times.
boyfriend, so much so that he signed up for the class.
Good for you, Raylan.
Right.
Got him to come to
Now
class.
we know who's
But-
got the pool.
Yeah, so there's always like this random boyfriend that shows up, and I'm like, here, grab a bag, let's go, so.
You're in.
Yeah, which is really cool because they're, PV students, but they have the knowledge that we could give them a little bit of direction. And we've had them, like, I come back upstairs from being down by the soundboard, and I'm like, who's running that camera? And it's just someone's boyfriend or their friend that
Took over.
they text each other when somebody didn't show up, and then they found someone to fill in. So that's really cool. But it's I'm grateful that we have
Yeah,
that and that
absolutely.
community, that kids can just step in and help us. We're really lucky for that.
I mean, you got like what, 18 to 25 students?
Yeah, not all of them like to show up to the after school things though,
Right.
So
but,
that's hard
But as
to.
far as the class,
But I've noticed
there's
there's
a lot.
consistent. There's the
Yeah.
consistent
Yeah.
ones
Same
that
one. I
come
mean,
like
we see
whenever
the
we.
consistency
Yeah.
at these two, and at probably 3 or 4 other ones
Yeah.
as well. So and you don't only just use them for the video or I should say use them. Didn't even make any sense. But they don't always just use the equipment that's up top where we're actually broadcasting. You've got a big group of kids that do multiple things, and some
Yeah.
of them you don't even notice that they're doing them. I know Adrian runs a lot of music. You guys run a lot of stats and different things like that. So I mean, it's not just cameras and microphones and equipment all the time. You really get your students involved in other things.
Yeah. Well, I have to shout out to them. It's probably been about a month. My back went out, and I wasn't on my feet. I was on my back for 4 days, and one of those 4 days we had a pep rally, and I was like super stressed out because they're so fast. But these kids were able to get the computers. They got all the graphics loaded. We get our script handed to us of what it's going to be. I'm emailing them, here's the audio track that the cheer coach sent me, and they know what to do, and so it was really cool. It was a good feeling. And they know how to set everything up in the gym, how to unplug the panels and plug the stuff in, and who they need to speak to if, one of the laptops are missing or something, that they've been able to do that. And that was the ultimate test, that I wasn't here, because there's not a ton of other people in the school that could help them with those specific things. Not everybody knows how to run the projectors or the mics in the gym, but they did it. And there were no problems.
And the
It's a
teachers start
testament.
coming to them going, hey, how
That's
do I
right.
do this?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's a testament to you as a teacher. I mean, you're showing them the path. You're showing them the way. Actually, Stephen was talking about this earlier, about just being able to show up and cut you loose to do what you were taught to do. That's a great thing to have. That's a great when you get your jobs, especially wherever, if you go into electrician or in whatever you decide to go in. I mean, to have that trade, to being able to be taught something and then just run with it without having to be told.
Yeah.
I mean, you may not understand that right now, and I don't want to dumb down
what
the
I had to
fact
do with
that
Albert.
you guys aren't that you're not intelligent enough to understand that. That's not what I'm saying. But the point I'm getting is, when you get older and you graduate and you start getting out into this crazy thing called the real world. That's a great thing to have on your side, is to learn something and then to be able to go out and do it without having to be told about it. Does that work at the same at your house, cleaning your room and getting your clothes picked up? Let's be honest.
Yeah, Jordan.
I'm looking at you, pal.
We like picking on Jordan. We've known Jordan for a while.
Jordan's a great kid. I mean, what does it feel like, Jordan, with you knowing you're a senior and there could be a possibility that you're maybe moving on to college, moving out of the house? Who knows if that's where it takes you? You could go into a trade school, which electrician, trade school is fantastic to look into. Have you really thought about the fact of having to leave home and just kind of venturing out on your own?
Nah.
Not at all.
Not until this moment.
Yeah, not till
Right now.
right
Thanks
now.
a lot, Albert. I'm going to drive home the rest of the way.
Now he's feeling real uncomfortable. Thanks. Albert.
Well, it's a reality, right? And I'm sure your teachers have all walked you through that. Your parents, I'm sure, have done that. So to be prepared for that, I'm sure you'll get there. How about you? How about yourself?
I've been thinking about it, but it's not as much, and it's like kind of scary to be out by myself, and like if I have questions, I won't have like somebody to go straight to, because a lot of people are busy. But it seems scary to be by myself.
Wow, and you're still planning on heading down to Santa Fe though, right? And
Yeah.
taking a shot at that. I mean, that'd be really cool. Like I said, I didn't even know they had that in Santa Fe, but I know that they've brought a lot of filmmaking and things like that into New Mexico.
Yep.
So it seems appropriate that they would have something there. And I mean, have you already looked into that school? Like what classes you'd need to take or anything like that? Or?
No, not really. It was just a thought I had. I found out about it, I think, toward the ending of junior year. So I didn't really look into it, but in a couple of weeks, we might be able to take a field trip out there to go see what it
that'd
is.
be cool.
Wow.
That'd be neat.
Yeah. So Rachel Yazzie, she's the FACE counselor at Piedra Vista. So her job is to get these seniors, signed up for college or whatever their next steps are. So she's arranging that field trip at the beginning of March. She's going to take a group of kids down to Santa Fe just to walk the campus and kind of learn about what that's going to be about,
Yeah.
I'm nagging at these kids because they haven't taken their senior pictures yet. They haven't done their graduation
going on over
invitations. So we got to get that in gear,
Yeah,
Come
it'll
on,
be,
guys.
It will be here before you know it. It's the craziest thing. I think you and I, we were all talking about this with you, Haley, and the kids, and we talk about it every time somebody gets on the podcast with us, is the fact that enjoy your senior year, because I am telling you, when you blink your eyes in August, it is May and it's time to graduate. And then all the real world stuff starts to hit, like, yeah, now we got to go to school or get a full-time job, whatever the case is. But is it not crazy? Like, you guys blinked your eyes, and guess what? What are we in, middle of February, March, April, May? So you've got 3 months left of your
Yeah, it's
your
almost
high school.
baseball season.
I mean, yeah, in my mind, I'm thinking that. Oh, baseball, softball.
All ours is runs by seasons,
Yep.
like sports seasons. You know
It
what
does.
I'm talking about.
Yep.
I mean, that it's a wild thing to kind of think about that. Haley, I wanted to talk about, the what an amazing, truly spouse that you have, and your daughter that you two have together. And man, you're at all of these events.
Yeah.
But what's
All of
kind of
them.
crazy is she's with almost at all the same ones with you, and
Yeah.
that dynamic, it just works.
Yeah.
And by the way, we weren't joking when we were talking that we really want her to get on some broadcasting
know.
with us. She's got that broadcast.
We like how you put her
voice.
to work whenever you're working.
Haley don't mess around. There ain't no standing around when
Yep.
you're around Haley. She's gonna put you to work. But talk through that. Just
Sure.
what it's like to have somebody who supports you in that, and I'm sure you support her as well.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
man, you are putting in a ton of hours.
Well, I don't know. I was raised, so my mom, Cindy Bassing, was the cheerleading coach when I was Peanuts age. And she did that for, I don't know, probably a decade or so. So we have all these jokes in my family that I was a bleacher brat. So I was raised in the stadium at Bloomfield and the gym, all of that, because cheer was at every event. I remember them cheering at wrestling, which was the most boring thing when you were a kid, but we were there, And so fast forward to my career that I'm doing that myself, just about everybody at PV knows Peanut. And then she's real comfortable with every part of that school because we're in every part of the school,
Yes.
So I'm really lucky that people are looking out for her. And there's some
will
other
never
coaches
get away with
there.
anything.
Well, hopefully not. She will try.
Something tells me you will find out.
Yes. But again, that support system, that other teachers, and she knows who the principals are and all of that they're looking out for her. And so they know when she's around that something is going on, And then my partner Well, she was working on the radio for a while, so she got that voice, and she
does.
loves it. You put a mic in front of her, and she just perks up and, goes into that kind of announcer voice. And so we've been really lucky to have that because she's announced for volleyball. She's going to run the scoreboard for baseball. So that'll be another family event when we're streaming. Brandy will be running the scoreboard, and then Peanut will be,
Maybe
running
you
around
should
that
sneak
stadium.
next door
That's right.
to the broadcast booth.
You
Yep.
tell Brandy I expect her to sign up to be
That's right.
a PA announcer for the Connie Mackerel series this year too, because
Sure.
she's got a fantastic voice, that announcer voice.
Yeah.
I know so would Brian and Chelsea. We'd love to have her on board to be a PA announcer, and you got to tell her she's hooked in now. There's no turning back.
Yep. Yeah. Well, and we're real fortunate. She's working in social work, and she's working at home from home. So she's able to meet all those dates that we need off, And I just love that there's community in that people we all know each other and we can help each other out, Real fortunate to have that.
That is.
Yeah.
That is so fortunate. All right, guys, here we go. We're going to assume Haley is your favorite teacher, so let's just X that out. Who is your other favorite teacher? We like to give some love and some shine to teachers at the high school, and we know the impact Haley's put on you, and obviously, let's just put it out there. She's one of your favorite teachers by a long shot.
I'm the
But
coolest.
who else is in there? Hey, no joking. Let's put that aside. Steven and I hear that all the time. Like, we just hear people love being in Haley's class, and it's so much fun. And again, yes, it's fun, but you're learning. Let's be really honest about it. Let's get serious for just a second. Yeah, it's fun. It's a great time. But you guys are learning in that class, and it's a testament to what Haley has been able to teach you, and then you all just take it and run with it. But let's go there. Jordan, you're up. Who is your favorite other teacher? You're not known as the other teacher, but you get what I'm trying to say here.
I have no idea, bro.
Come on, Jordan, dig deep here.
Probably like Mr. Hughes or Mr. Ensign.
Cool.
One of them.
Okay.
Trying to think. I think that's pretty much it.
All right, Raylan, what about you?
So we were talking about this earlier, and one of my favorite teachers besides Bassing would be Mr. Clamore, and the junior teacher, Miss Floyd.
Nice. They love to hear that. It's kind of a shock. Stephen and I know quite a few teachers, so and when they come on Hot Mic and we have some of our athletes and students that'll talk about who their favorite teacher is, it really touches their heart because they don't get to hear that often. You know what I mean? And you'll understand this a lot more when you get older and start, having families, if that's the route you decide to go. But the fact of the matter is you'll start really thinking about the people who were really there for you, who were really dug in and made a difference and an impact in your life. And so it's so amazing that you two were able to put that out there. So, all right, what's your favorite thing about your favorite teacher, Haley, in their class? We'll go with the young lady first. Raylan, tell us first. What's your favorite part about your Haley? What do y'all call her? Miss?
They just call me
Miss
Bassing.
Okay.
I like how she's she pushes us to do more things, and so we always have these fun conversations with her, and she brings out more creativity from us, and so we just talk to her a lot, and she's more fun to talk to because she will, I guess, be there. She's a trusted adult anybody could go to. So basically, is what I'm saying.
Important to have that these days, no doubt about it. How about you, Jordan? Well, she likes music, so we can start there. We know Haley likes music, that's for sure.
She's always telling me to take out my AirPods. So.
That's the truth.
Somebody's got to keep
Jordan's
in line,
always
pal.
like, what? What are we doing? And I'm like, take your earpods off.
Nah, it's funny. Miss Bastion's like cool. I don't know. You could just talk to her and then of course make jokes with her, and I don't know, man. It's just fun because it's the other teachers they serious and stuff, but it's Miss Bastion is just whatever, man. Whatever.
No, Jordan likes it because I let him make his own playlist on that Neptune software we have. So we have Jordan's Fire. What is it?
It's like most fire playlist.
Must play or something.
Yeah.
So you're the guy that go to when you got to get that sound clean, and man, that's a good thing to have there, brother. I think you'll be shocked how much that could help you in the electrician business. I mean, that you learning how things connect in, and I mean, this guy and Corey and CR blow my mind away when I show up and I'm like, what did you guys do now? What did you get into now? But they geek out about that stuff. They really like that. So, man, we want to wish you the best in your future and what you got planned after high school and all that, Jordan. And man, it's been a lot of fun getting to know you, dude. And I hope you know how much we've enjoyed having
Jordan,
you and laughing
Yazzie.
with you. And
I want to know how much fun it was jumping in that cold water that Haley made
Were
us
you
all.
at the plunge?
That Haley guilted
He
us
showed
all
up.
to jumping in.
It was not fun. It was not fun at all.
did the body just hurt,
Yes.
ache, and burn?
Yeah, that's it. And then I only got so far in, and I was
Yeah,
like,
what the heck?
So you didn't
I was
go all the
coming
way
out
in.
and Jordan was already out of the water, and he was in before I was.
Yeah.
Is that
went-
considered plunging, Haley?
Was
Is
your
that
hair
officially?
dry? I don't remember.
No, I went in, but it was so cold, and I ducked my whole body under, and I was like, yeah, that's it. I'm out of there, man.
Hey, I
was
had an
cold this
excuse.
year.
I had to take my wife to the airport.
You were such
That's
a
not a
liar.
good
That is a lie.
excuse.
You were. There's no excuse, Albert. You were supposed to go with me. I'm not going to accept
That's my
any
story, and I'm
excuses.
sticking to it. Raylan, did you do the plunge?
No, I was busy that day.
Good girl.
Of course you were busy that
Hey,
day.
listen, that's called
Busy.
smart. Yeah, that was brutal.
Yeah.
My head was not dry because my foot sunk 3 feet into the mud and I fell in.
Yeah, it was brutal this year. It was.
I saw Dave in the store. Dave, if you're watching,
He better be.
and we had a discussion about that.
Well, they, Haley, talk about some of your other students before we close it out here. I know there's so many students. You got to talk about Chris, and we didn't even get to talk a little bit about Dawn, your new athletic director
Yeah.
at Pedro Vista, who is really just on board with what you all do. They're really on board with what they do over at PV Period. Just
Yeah.
amazing young lady. Blessing that you all get her as a full-time athletic director. But talk about some of the other students that you're going to be losing maybe as a senior or coming
Yeah.
up, and because Stephen and I had talked to a couple of coaches or teachers themselves, and the one thing they always say is, truthfully, they take this stuff home with them. They're going to miss seeing somebody, or they're going to, you go through a lot of heartbreak with
Yeah.
people. I know a lot of parents understand that because our students and our student athletes have favorite teachers, and you guys go through a lot of stuff, and it's just part of the reality, and people can talk to you. That's
Yeah.
probably the number one compliment I think we hear from students is that they just trust you.
Sure.
So talk about, some of the other
Yeah.
students that aren't here, maybe some of them that we're going to be losing
Sure.
this coming year.
Well, I'm really proud of these students that they, even if they're not completely decided, heart set on what they're going to do, I'm here. I'm available to you guys. Hopefully they're comfortable enough. Like Kayleen, she texted me just a few weeks ago because she needed a reference for a job, and she's like, Bassing, can I put you on here? So I want that to be open to all of my students, and it's there, the career paths that are set for, like you said, learning all of this. That's stuff that you can do, and I really want to create a space for these students to tell their stories. That's something, we all have our story, and that's what you guys do with this podcast, is get people to tell their stories, because they're so in depth, and that's what makes a good movie, is the story. Like, we could overlook bad sound, or we could overlook weird lighting or cinematography, but if it's a good story, none of those things matter.
We won't even notice it.
Yep. And these kids have a lot. Something that, I don't know if it bonded us or what, but going through COVID, that changed everybody in kind of every way. And so these kids we've came out. My first year teaching them, we were all in masks. I didn't know what they looked like until the second year I was teaching them.
That's wild to
Yeah.
think about that too, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really crazy. So it's emotional to see them leave, but I'm also really proud of them because, like I said, they may not know exactly what they're going to do, but I know they're going to be successful. They have the tools. They've shown that to me. They've shown that to you, being out in our community, all of it, that they'll be all right on their own.
Well, it's huge when they can commit to doing what they're doing right here,
Yeah.
because when you get in real life, you're going to have to commit to be successful.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and there's been some times that I don't know if losing it on a kid is a good term to use, but we've had those realities. There's some times that our students will be like, Ms. Bassing, I can't be at the stream tonight. And I'm like, you don't need to tell me. You got to turn around and tell this other team that signed up for the live stream that you're not going to be there. So how are they going to figure that out? Who's going to run that camera for us? Or, you know what I mean? How are we going to do that? And that's real life skills. And it's hard to learn. Like, I'm not good at it. That's some sucking up some pride and maybe apologizing to people that when they make those commitments and then they're not able to follow through. Because deadlines are really important. Senior night is on a night. And if we don't have our videos cut together.
We need pictures.
Yeah. And it's more than, you're not letting me down. You're letting all those senior parents down,
That's right.
everyone in the stands. So they're having to trial by fire learn some real life skills, meeting deadlines and meeting with clients and having those interactions with each other. Because there's been some times these kids have fought with each other in the class that you kind of just let them have a minute to figure it out, and then they're good.
We mean arguments, folks.
Right.
They're not literal.
They're not beating each other up.
Bailey, you would be shocked what people will text us or call us after a show.
Nobody was fighting.
Yeah.
What's happening? And we're like,
arguing.
Yeah. And I mean, they're figuring that out. Sometimes at work, the professionalism goes out the window just for a second, and then you compose yourself and, going back and saying, I'm sorry to a classmate or a teacher or anybody, that's a life skill. That's hard. And these kids are learning it, I have a big group of seniors. So this is my second class that I've had since they were freshmen to graduate. And it's going to be sad. And
Are you
it's
going to tear up with us right now? Are we going to have an emotional moment together?
Wow.
well, it dawned on me because I'm trying to, for a pep rally tomorrow, trying to get some underclassmen in there because my seniors are the ones that do it now. And I'm having that realization of, man, we got to get more underclassmen trained. Otherwise, next year is going to be a mess because these guys are going to be gone,
Well, it's just like any sport. Like you're relying on that next group to come through. But I'm listening and I agree. Like when I was coaching, it was always, you're like, man, they left. And then you get through this. Oh, God, they left. It's like they just keep leaving. You really enjoy them, and then they're gone. But that is reality. But I mean, you got to be thinking about what's next, like who's coming up the pipe and getting kids in there. So yeah, I'm sure that's definitely hitting.
Panther
right
Vision
now.
doesn't stop.
Yeah.
Just
we
because
won't.
kids graduate, right?
Yep.
It's just like the football sport, all of that. I mean, I know you credit everybody, and rightfully so, but I got to tell you, it's so impressive to see what you've built over there at Panther Vista. I'm sure Farmington is coming right back up the same road here shortly. They'll be back with theirs, and man, just I hope when the year's over that you can take a bow, man, because you've done a great job over there, Haley, and you're blowing our mind. I mean, gosh, I remember we started with you, and then like I said, you and Steven geeked out. Corey would help every blue moon with that too when he was there, and then of course Chris was a big part of that. But gosh, it was like 3 months, and we were like, she don't even need us anymore. I mean, she's caught on to absolutely everything as fast as you have. So
well, and I appreciate you guys because you're always there. I'll text you early in the morning or in the evening, and I'm like, hey, I can't figure this out. What should I do?
And I'm like, yes.
He really is. I'm not joking. This guy loves to geek out over here.
I know this one.
Yep. It's awesome.
Well, congratulations to you two and your other seniors, to your class. And I would just say the time that you got left, grab them, those juniors and those sophomores and freshmen, and just show them the way, because they need to know the way too, and you want to leave that legacy better than when you came into it. You hear probably that saying quite a bit is leave it better than when you found it, you know, when you leave. And I think you all have done that, you know, but as Haley's saying, you know, we got to get that next generation of Panther Vision students rocking and rolling. So Jordan, got to hand over your beat mixers and all the music.
Somebody's going to take over the
dude.
playlist next year.
Yeah.
All
Come
right.
on, man. And listen, I'm sure Ms. Bassing would let you come back and help off, you know, even though you both are out at college. But,
Yeah.
you know, it's really important to hand that down to people.
Whose
I know.
boyfriends are we going to recruit?
Already got one. Lane's got her boyfriend signed up.
Working on them. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Well, any final thoughts from you, Steven?
No, I just appreciate you, Haley, for allowing us the opportunity to come over there and work with the students. And,
Yeah, thank
and
you.
It's been a lot of fun, and thank you guys for showing up, and congratulations. You guys are gonna be graduating soon, and we look forward to hearing how all that goes. I want to hear how the whole school in Santa Fe, whenever you get to tour that, I want to hear about that. So that's pretty cool.
Yes.
But thank you guys for showing up and coming and hang out in the studio.
Our
DSL2.
high level studio over here.
No, it's been fun, and
Yeah.
we'll have to run it again at some point with some new students maybe next
Yeah.
year and do it and talk about some other things and also give you some more time to talk about some of the things. I know we talked a little bit about the polar plunge, but that's a cool thing that's been brought up in the community and stuff like that. But it's been fun, and thank you guys for showing up.
Thank you.
Anybody interested in joining your class coming up? They may not be in it now. Maybe they're looking next year. How do they find you? How do they go about joining?
Sure. So actually right now we're in the middle of registering our 8th graders coming in. So kind of the way that works is they need to take the intro to film class. And in that class we show them how to get the software on the computer, how to use the software, how to use their phones, all of it. So like, you know, it's the intro class. And then the next year you could be in the advanced film or the, we call it sports film. It's a mass media class. So then we're not having to teach you like, this is how we download iMovie and that kind of thing, you know. But come and talk to me, really. Especially, I'm trying to recruit athletes. So we're not having to learn these sports. They could be like, Bassing, this is how it is. This is what we need. Those types of things, you know. You had mentioned Dawn a minute ago. How do we say her last name? I always say it wrong.
Keenest.
Keenest?
Yeah.
Okay. She's like one of my, I don't know if she's one of my good friends. We've worked together. She was the gym master at Farmington High last year. So like she was at every event and I was at every event. So we were able to become friends through that. And then now she's helping my students, you know, when I was out, when I was sick and everything. That's been a really good relationship. It's been really easy to have, to help us, you know, because I'm like, hey, should we do this? Should we throw this up on the video board? Or she's like, hey, we need this music or we need this emergency announcement to play. And so we just go and film something, record it, produce it, you know. And so that's made it really easy. And then she's asked us to stream like wrestling, which we hadn't planned on doing. So then there's this scratch your back kind of a thing that we've been able to work for. So that's been really good. And we've been able to try to collaborate. We want to try to get more people in the stands at our games. And then we could be doing more things, handing out T-shirts and more stuff that they could get involved with, the students can, you know, coming up with trivia for the video board, and then we have prizes for the students and that type of thing. So those are some things that we've been trying to work on for the school, you know, just getting people involved.
Yeah, and that's a big thing right now, and I kind of think it's across the board is getting the community more involved with the kids, with the sports, with just everything
With all
that's
of it.
going on.
Yeah.
We talk. I understand what you're talking, because we talk about that. Albert and I talk about that. Like, what can we do at a game?
Yeah.
To get the fans involved, to get the community to want to be a part of it. You know, like, so yeah, I completely understand.
Well, and it's such a weird, which side of the line are we on? Do we want more fans in the stands or do we want more views on the live stream? You know?
Yeah.
Because essentially we want both.
We'll talk about that when we get off air. I know
We got more to talk about.
Well, and to pitch I'm looking for graduation sponsors. So if there's anyone out there that wants to sponsor Panther Vision, we just got these hoodies. The students designed our logos.
Those are cool.
And that was a big chunk of change just for some sweatshirts,
yeah.
you know. And we would like to provide meals when we have these Friday night, we're out till 10 o'clock and we're there right after school, you know, those types of things that we could provide for the students because they're working hard.
Oh,
You
yes,
know?
They are.
Well, it's not easy. Like, I know that you think it's just running a camera or doing this, but I mean, mentally, you've got to be in it the whole time. A lot of them are standing on their feet the whole time.
Yep.
You know, it can be extremely uncomfortable. And I don't say that in a bad way. It's just like, you're right. They need that. They need something to drink. They need something to eat, and they don't need to be trying to call somebody or go get something. They don't have time for that.
Yep.
And so that's important.
Yeah.
It's very important.
Well, they always get sad because I'm like, I call it intermission. In sports, it's halftime, right?
Yes.
But I'm like, this is our time to shine, guys. When the cheerleaders are doing theirs and the Panteras are doing theirs, like this is when we're really working, you know. And so it's hard for them when I'm like, we can't take a break. They're like, why? I need to go to the bathroom. You
No
know?
bathroom breaks.
Suffer through it.
Yeah. Well, and then these guys, if you guys remember the football Cleveland game when it was like wind, raining,
Rain,
and
sideways,
these guys
yeah.
were out there just under their little plastic bags, but you know, they all stayed. And that's part of the deal with these streams is we take a selfie at the end of it, but that's how you get your grade is that you're there through the end of it. You know, we don't just show up for the fun parts and then leave it to everybody else to clean
There's
up.
a lot of tear down and set
Yep.
up and everything else. Yeah.
There is.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations, Haley.
Yeah,
You've done
thank
an
you.
amazing job. You know, golf clap to you. Bow at the end of the season because you really do deserve it. You've done a fantastic job with what you've built. Raylan, Jordan, the best of luck to you too. Your friends, your seniors. No joke about this film that you're fixing to make. Come on now. Stand up. Get it done. Get moving forward. Dig in. Rock it out, and then you guys let us know and get our hands on that video, and we're gonna come out here. We're gonna blast it out there for everybody.
Yeah, we'll play
to
it up
see.
on the screen and let you guys talk about what you did.
Yep,
It'll
you
be
guys
cool.
Can be proud of it. So, well, we want to thank Panther Vision for coming in to Hot Mic with Desert Sports Live. Albert Velarde, Stephen Parks. Thank you all for tuning in. Hey, get out there and share this video if you want to be a part of Panther Vision. Get a hold of Miss Haley Bassing. I know she's got 30 different names that the
Yeah.
students call her. So I'll
Bassing.
just call
Just
her-
get with Bass.
Yeah.
Get with Bass or Bassing, you know, you see that. But, you know, thank you all so much. Congratulations on another successful season, although we're fixing to get into the best part of it, which I love, which is baseball and
Yep.
softball. But good luck. We'll be back. Thanks for rocking out with Desert Sports Live. God bless, and we're out.